What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing back an old idea that you guys really seem to like. We're going to be going over how to win a ton of fights in Fortnite. Pretty much just a bunch of tips that you guys can use in your own fighting to win more fights, end them faster, end up in a better situation after you fight. Pretty much just some generalized fighting tips to help you guys improve. Before we get into it, be sure to drop a like on the video if it helps you out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content just like this in the future. And lastly, guys, if you want to help out a bit extra, if you want to use code Teckoh in the item shop, it's super appreciated and it seriously does help a lot. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So before we get into it, I just want to explain the format a little bit. Pretty much what we're going to be doing in this video is going over a bunch of my own fights, what I did right, what I did wrong, and what you guys can learn from it. So in this video, I have 6 different clips that we're going to analyze. They all kind of have different situations. These clips are all from ranked, so it should be some pretty decent fights and there should be some good stuff to learn. So getting straight into our first clip. For this first clip, we're going to be in ranked trios and one of my teammates is already down, with my other teammate being in a 1v2, and they're telling me that both players are already hit hard. So in this situation, I have a crazy loadout. I got plenty of materials. I know a good teammate still got my back and we're both stacked. So this is one of those situations where we can get a bit more aggressive, kind of just get in and close this out. So that's kind of my mentality moving in here. So moving up on this fight, I see one of the players going towards my teammate's card. Since teams that are hit like they are usually play together, I basically know him and his teammate are going to be right in this box. I open up and edit to scope out the situation, see what's going on inside, and he edits out, giving me an easy kill. He didn't even know I was there. What I did not notice here was his teammate was actually in the same box as me on the ramp. So a couple of things go through my mind here, and this is the stuff you want to think about in these situations. Both of his teammates are dead, with one being recently knocked and right there. They're in a bit of a shambles situation, so he's probably going to be a bit nervous, and he's probably damaged as well. So I try to get into the next box for some cover, but I turn around, obviously knowing he's probably going to edit on me in this situation, which he does. Knowing I've probably got the HP advantage and I got a purple spaz, I'm not afraid to take a head-on fight here, and I end up cleaning them both up with 0 damage taken. So the lesson here is super simple. People dump on 50-50s all the time. If you watch tips and tricks videos, including my own, I've been guilty of this. People are going to tell you don't 50-50, don't just jump in somebody's box. But the truth is, it's all situational, guys. In a situation like this, I had an HP advantage. The other team is on edge since they take damage and they lose teammates, and I have a good teammate still backing me up if I need it. A simple W key here was more than enough to get these kills. So you want to be cautious. You want to think about it when you do it. Obviously, there's certain situations where it's not justified, but don't be afraid to get aggressive and kind of get in these types of situations to end a fight fast. So getting into this second fight here, we've got a 3v3 situation brewing where my teammates are a bit higher up and I'm getting pushed by 2 players. At this point, one player gets taken up by my teammate, putting me and one player into a 1v1 on low ground. With him on my wall, I jump out of the box and make a bit of distance. Kind of just gives me a little bit more ability, kind of gives me more room to move around if I need it. And I catch him with an easy shot when he doesn't realize I even moved. I can tell this guy's kind of disoriented and isn't likely to shoot me back, so I go for a simple move on him. I quickly open up and edit, slide to his side a little bit if you can't tell, so it's a bit harder for him to get a shot off. I do a simple box with a cone above and below him and a few walls around. That basically means there's no choice for him but to fight. So with the little movement trick I pulled, getting low on his side and a quick pump shot, I cleaned this up quickly. There are a few small simple things to learn here. First, when your box is being pushed, simply moving over a bit can find you some super easy angles. A lot of people just expect you to stay in one box for some reason, especially if you're in lower ranked or playing pubs. So literally just moving out of your box and getting an angle on him is super easy damage. And then if your opponent seems disoriented, like I could tell this guy kind of didn't know what was going on, this simple full box is an easy way to open them up and make sure they don't get away. Technically, it would have been more optimal to stay outside of the box there and go for a right hand peek while I full box him or something like that, but I had a good team backing me up and this guy seemed like he was lost in the sauce anyway. So in this particular situation, I decided to get a bit more aggressive and just jump on him so I can get to my team faster. But getting into clip number 3, in our third clip, I get a good shot with a boom bow on the person my teammate's fighting, but unfortunately my teammate is also super low and gets knocked. But I already know this player's low, so I'm swooping in for the quick kill here. I get to his box, it takes me a second, but I find where he tarped to, and then the kill here is super simple. I want you guys to see this. I break his wall with my AR and I pull out one of my classic moves that I've been using for years. I just call it the cone wall replace. All I did here was I took his wall, but I slipped a cone the instant before placing the wall. If you do this, one of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to get control of the cone in their box, which is also super helpful, or you're going to get both the cone and the wall, which is even better. In this case, I got both, making this a super easy corner edit for the kill. I hit him for 30 with the pump somehow, but otherwise it was a quick, easy cleanup. I might need to work on my shotgun aim though. The only real teaching moment here is the move that I just showed you guys, especially if you're on low ping. It's a good idea to jump in creative and kind of just do this over and over. Practice taking walls with the cone added. If you can do it with a friend, that's even better too. Even if you have 0 0 ping, you're not going to get this every single time, but if you do, it'll make for some easy kills for sure. And better yet, if your opponent's not actively holding that wall, then that's going to make it super easy. You can catch so many people off guard with that move, it's actually ridiculous. So getting into our fourth fight here, we're in the grotto and I'm put into a 1v2 situation where my last teammate gets knocked. I already hit one player for around 60 white HP, so I know one's already low. So in these 1v2 situations, you want to go for one player at a time generally, if you can catch them apart. So I try to jump in to clean him up, but he was smart and got out quick, so we're getting into kind of a build fight situation here. Luckily, he decides to try and go for a shot, so I clean him up quickly with a side jump. Not much to note there. Just to be petty, I go for the instant finish, and then I tarp away to create some distance and manage this 1v1. Knowing the other player is on height and he knows I've been hit, I can pretty much predict that he's going to jump on one of my walls soon. And the second I hear him jump on my side, I edit out to that side and get a quick chip shot for 91. Catches him completely off guard and he's at 9 HP now. Even though I hit him hard, I was still one shot to a good pump. So just to be safe, I pop a big shield and play a bit slower, and then I jump up with my grappler. At this point, I'm more than one shot to pretty much everything except a spaz. And since he only had a wood roof, I figure I can catch him off guard. So I just drop in with my AR, I throw a cone above to block him from getting out, and getting some quick shots off gets me the kill. In these 1v2 types of situations, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. The first one, and one I alluded to earlier, is you want to focus on one player at a time if you're able to. Obviously, sometimes there's going to be one on each of your walls and you can't really get both individually, but you want to try to if you can, because it's going to make it a lot more manageable. You can see I went straight for one player first, super aggressively to turn it into a 1v1 as quick as I can, which is way more manageable even if I lose HP. If you ever watch a pro player and they're playing like solo squads or something like that, you're very rarely going to see them in a 1v2, 1v3, 1v4 type of situation where they're all fighting him at once. They kind of try to catch each player individually. And then the little wall prediction here, I'm telling you guys, most players do the same exact things and they can be super easy to predict and get free tags on. So if you're in one of these situations and you figure, well, they're probably going to drop on my wall soon, you can pretty easily get that quick edit and get a good shot off. And lastly, the final kill with the cone, not too much to say there. I knew he was already low, I knew my HP was better, so I went straight in, dove in, and it worked out. It's not going to work out every time, but in that case, it did. Getting into our fifth clip though, and this next clip is a pretty simple one. My teammate already killed the other player and I'm in a 1v1 here. I drop on this box, and one big thing I did was I got piece control with the left wall so he's not able to edit through there and get a chip shot. When you're pushing a box, you want to make sure you got control of stuff like that. From there, I pressure the main wall in the box he's in. I do my same little cone slide technique, which catches this kid slipping, and I would have cleaned up the kill easily, but we had a little oopsie when my teammate RPG'd the box and we traded shots. Not my teammate's fault, he was trying to apply pressure, it just happened to open things up. But at this point, we're both low, but I do have the right hand peek from the way I pushed this box, just because I set myself up in a good position. So with my teammate pressuring from one side, I get a quick right hand peek and snatch up the kill. This is a super simple lesson here, guys, kind of just about how you want to push. Go for the right hand peek when you can, and always try to control that left wall when you're pushing a box from the left side. That way there's no room for your opponent to grab a right hand peek and get a good shot on you. In these types of situations, the right hand peek almost always wins. It's just so hard to counter. So be cautious about the way you push a box and always try to have it controlled if you're able to. So getting into our last clip for this video, me and my teammate are being pushed by a solo, but he does have a teammate rolling up. In these types of situations, taking care of the solo super quick is going to be key to us cleaning up this fight. He starts spraying at us as I'm trying to heal from our last fight, and he is able to grab my wall. So I go ahead and place a ramp to cover myself. Now I can tell one thing about this player just from our 5 seconds of engagement. He loves his minigun. So since I have decent HP and I can tank a shot or two from the minigun if I need to, I'm going to use that against him. So all I do here is I let him spray my ramp down and I go for a quick pre-fire, landing a shot for 92. Since he's standing in the same exact place, he gives me an easy chance for piece control. I'm a bit far back in my box still, so I don't want to cone and give him time to switch guns. Plus, if I did that cone and I was trying to full box him, I'd have to run towards him first with the map out, and I would have taken a lot of damage and potentially died. So instead, I just ramp above him so he can't shoot me, and I place walls all around him. Knowing my teammate's behind me and he's able to help if needed, I go for the quick kill and clean it up nicely. So there's two main things that made this fight so easy. First, getting the pre-fire through that spray. When you're under pressure, when you're getting sprayed, more times than not, you're able to get a shotgun shot off just like I did if you have the right angle. And then especially after you deal damage like that and your opponent's kind of flustered, you want to stop them from getting away unless you need to heal. So that simple full box and edit, especially once you hit somebody hard and they're flustered, is a great way to clean things up and end a fight fast. Then after this fight, we were able to easily 1v2 the players duo and then knock out the last team for the win after these guys gave us some insane loot. But with that said, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video on how to become an insane fighter in Fortnite Remix. Overall, guys, hopefully those fights gave you some really good tips and tricks that you guys can use in your own fights. It has been a while since I did a video basically analyzing my own fights, so let me know how you guys feel about this. I've been playing a ton of ranked lately, so if you guys want to see more clips just like this, you want to see me analyze some more of my fights and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to do some more. videos like this. So hopefully those tips helped you out, guys. If you found this video helpful, then be sure to drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content just like this in the future. I'm dropping a ton of videos recently, so make sure you don't miss out. And then lastly, guys, if you want to show some extra support, it's always super appreciated if you could use code Teckoh in the item shop. It's 100% free for you, and it seriously does help me out a lot. Thank you so much to everyone who uses it. But with all that said, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.